Hello and welcome to the GFW Radio podcast. This is the podcast for January 22nd. I am here with the usual gang of idiots, minus Mr. Sean Malloy, who's still on jury duty.
Man, he couldn't convince that he could not convince that jury that he did not belong.
He didn't take my advice, which was to show up in clown shoes and a Speedo with "You're guilty" painted on his naked chest. Then he could be here. So way to go, Sean. Filling in for Mr. Ford, we have what? Is it not January 22nd?
Filling in for
Mr. Ford is Mr. Ford. Okay, I'm scattered because Mr. Ford shoved something in my face. Is it not January 22nd?
Well, it is. It's going up tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh, it's going up tomorrow.
This is already a horrendous.
Man, see what happens when Sean's not here. Okay,
let's start again.
No, let's not.
No, keep going.
No,
roll with it, man. We can do this.
One shot at it.
Power
one
through.
Shot, and this is our shot. This is live TV. Filling in for Mr. Malloy is Mr. Greg Ford from EGM. Thank you. Yay!
Big ups.
That's what's so great about One Up. We're like all brothers and sisters here.
True. We go.
Some we beat up on more than others.
Greg's more than welcome to chime in on the podcast too. We like to.
He doesn't have a mic though.
Cross-pollinate.
Conveniently enough.
Right here.
Don't give the console guy a mic.
I'll lean over by him. He's got his Xbox Live headset. Guys, can you hear me now?
Guys, I'm so poning you. I'm gonna use my chainsaw in Years of War.
So, all right. So, let's begin. I just sat in on the 1 hour long, about 45-minute long WoW podcast, the One Up WoW podcast, which is called. Let's see, you can get it over at wowblog.oneup.com. So I kind of don't want to talk too much about Burning Crusade.
Okay.
There's not much else to say at this point, huh?
But I think so. Go there to hear WoW chat. But is anyone playing it besides me on this staff, or you're not? Are you? Darren, you are?
I started playing a little bit. I haven't had much of a chance because this weekend, as we get closer to my wedding, I'm getting pulled into like wedding type stuff every weekend.
And you got to get her in line right now.
I'm telling you, man.
Right now.
So I'm on was it Bailgun? Is that the
Yeah.
So yeah, if you see me around, my name is Drano. Draeno.
Uh-huh. And I am Vahmet. That's Vahmet.
Is it mandatory that you have to have a douche name?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of that was kind of intentional. It's for a guild of noobs.
Yeah. You'll just be rejected if you create one and it's not douchey. It'll just say not douchey.
My name is
enough.
Ron.
Yeah. Skip was talking about that guild on the other podcast. The only requirement is you can't have a level 60 character, because it's supposed to be for casual players only. So if you have a level 60 character on some other server, Skip doesn't want you.
Yeah, you're in this guild.
Yeah, but I just turned 60.
Oh.
So I got to pass.
So if we have level 59 characters...
You can get in.
Cool.
You can get in. Luke can't get in.
But wait, if you have a level 60 character, it doesn't matter, because that's not the max level anymore.
The rule is essentially no poop sockers, right?
That's pretty much the rule. Yeah.
We'll have to explain what poop sockers is later.
Go ahead, since you.
No, we will, because we've got this wonderful contest we ran.
Actually, that's some poop
related.
Okay, that's actually going to be the hook to get people to listen to the whole podcast.
Okay.
If you want to know the definition of poop soccer.
Okay.
You got to listen to the whole thing.
I don't know if I could wait the entire podcast to talk about that awesome contest.
And if my mom's listening this week, just log off before we get to the end.
People are
Sorry,
like,
Mom.
if this is a drinking game, they're already don't raise your glass yet. I mean, if the rules are like if they talk about scat or dicks or farts, then you have to drink. Mm-hmm. So we haven't gotten there yet. Poop sock is not what you think it is.
Oh, that's not what it is?
No.
Boy, you just threw me off. I thought I had it.
Now I need to stay till the end too.
I'm just a good liar.
Man, you're such a tease. So I did actually play all weekend. I played Burning Crusade all weekend, and I think it's an awesome expansion.
Yeah, you on the way to lunch, you were telling me like your schedule for Saturday. What was it like?
Oh, it was pathetic. I actually got up at like 6 a.m. to play, and partially because it's so crowded in some of the zones right now, because everybody wants to play at night, that there's it's got a little bit of a Disneyland wait in line to kill this guy thing.
That's the dumbest excuse ever. What are you doing on the carpet? Oh, I was looking for the last little rock that fell in the carpet. I mean, dude, come on, man. It's less busy at 6 a.m. What the hell, man?
Well, what was funny?
It's masquerading as work.
I want to know, who does that excuse hold up to, aside from Darren, who's just like, yeah.
I know. I was looking at him because he was kind of nodding, but I could see Sean. What was funny though is when I was playing at that time of day, there were people in the general chat who were like talking and like, some guys were saying like, you guys are like fucking geeks for be playing. It's like, man, if you're anyone who's on right now is a geek, like just get over it. If you're up playing now,
what's the deal though? Are you trying to explain away your guilt, or did you feel guilt at all, or did you feel no guilt?
No, I didn't feel guilt.
Because today when you came in the office, you said, you're like, you didn't look back on your weekend as time well spent. It seemed like you just were looking at yourself and you're like, and I just imagined you basically poop socking the game.
I was a little disgusted with myself, but I was letting myself go I knew I needed to spend another weekend kind of quiet and at home because I'm getting over the pneumonia. It was a beautiful weekend in California, and had I been 100% better and had done the weekend I had this weekend, I would have felt really bad about myself.
Yeah.
Because I should have been outside. But in general, I didn't feel guilty about it. I didn't.
Did you activate the special pet that came with your collector's edition?
I did. The nether whelp.
That's all.
Why are you asking these questions so condescendingly, man?
Did you do anything other than throw away the collector's cards that came in the collector's edition?
I didn't throw them out. They're still in the box.
Did you do?
I don't want to break the shrink wrap on them, dude.
Possible value.
Yeah, I'm not breaking the shrink wrap.
In the speculators market, these might be worth $12.95.
Meanwhile, Sean, you were like an insect all weekend in that infestation.
I ran into some freaks. I was, King Freak of Maw. I was in TeamSpeak, and we were going in to play Team Fortress Classic and a bunch of other random games. It's like I've been waiting for a good new game to come out, and in the meantime, I've been revisiting a bunch of old crap, like Battlefield 1942, Team Fortress. I've found tons of hackers on there last night, which was really weird because with VAC, the Valve anti-cheat software, it just seems like no one. For one, it works well and it's updated frequently. The other thing is, since it's on Steam, like who's going to take the risk? Do you really want to get caught cheating in Team Fortress and lose access to your entire bunch of games in Steam?
Is that what they would do? They would
that's what I'm guessing. But there's people with all kinds of hacks in there now. So was doing that. But anyway, in the TeamSpeak channel, we just go to random ones, and they're almost all German. And the only thing we can say to each other is like, Du hast Rammstein, or not Rammstein. I said Rammstein like whatever, Rammstein. But so there was a woman in there. And we do this.
What?
Wait, you mean a woman or a quote woman?
It sounded like.
We need that needle scratching across the record sound effect, like stop.
Hold on.
Whoa.
So, we're in so we're in there, and we do this thing, me and my friend Rory, where we just pretend we're kids playing from some school. We just allude to either our grandmother or the school that we're at, and it might be like it's 10 p.m. on the weekend, so you got to come to your own conclusions about the variety of school it is, like where you live there, and they let us play games, and so I started asking her, in the voice that I do on here all the time, like, are you playing Team Fortress? Would you like to play some video games with us? Are you a real lady, or do you only sound like a woman? And then so she's like, no, and she tells me she's playing World of WarCraft, Burning Crusade, and then Rory will chime in like, Grandma says, like this random stuff, and she was like totally buying it, and she was asking us, why don't you guys play Burning Crusade? And I told her, because it's got devils in it and all this other thing.
Grandma says devils are evil.
Trying to remember, this is spinning wrong all of a sudden. There was like a punchline to this story, and I'm trying to find my way back to it.
Bring it back, man.
But basically, I don't know, dude. It came. Oh yeah, the monthly fees. So I was like, don't you have to pay a lot of money every month to play that game? She's like, well, consider, all the enjoyment you get. No, really, you don't have to. And I was like, well, I could spend that same amount of money on McDonald's every month. And then so she said, well, McDonald's doesn't have games. And I was like, well, there's games. What do you mean? Every time I get a lunch, there's games right on the box.
The Happy Meal.
You can cut out the little picture, and sometimes if you've got your own dice, there's a lot of games on there. But anyway, she was cool. She didn't run away, and she was just alone in that room with what she thought were two.
I just wonder if one day
she sounds kind of scary now. That she hung around there with you.
Yeah, probably was just sitting there poop socking and couldn't afford to alt-tab out and close TeamSpeak.
Was looking for young boys, maybe.
Young retarded boys.
I understand you. Yeah. Come to mama.
If Grandma wasn't sleeping, I would yell at you so loud. That's the
Do you remember breastfeeding?
Sorry. I took a big detour with that. Let me bring it back. with some more Burning Crusade stuff.
You might have killed the Burning Crusade.
Yeah, that kind of. Well, I just want to throw out one thing. I was nodding a little bit before when you were saying about your crazy schedule. But the thing is, every MMO game I start like that, I'll be like full, great guns until like level 20, and then I hit this.
Yep.
And then I hit this wall.
Yeah, we talked about that on the other podcast too. That it's a very common phenomenon, that like hitting that wall. Because I mean, the level
20 crisis. It's everyone knows.
It's a midlife crisis.
We've all hit it at some point or the other.
Well, at one point you just you're like, okay, you're having fun with it, and then you realize, okay, what was once fun is now just like, okay, now I realize how much of a freaking like treadmill this is.
Well, it starts becoming work rather than, because 1 through 20 is like a casual thing. You just level with
whatever that sense is that's kicking in at level 20 is the one thing that separates humans from lemmings.
You are such a hater, man. Oh, if it's the games you like, they're cool.
It's
different, man.
Coming from the guy who spends like 500 plus hours in Battlefield 2.
Yeah, but you're not a geek. Fuck you, I'm level 16. I'm proud, man.
No shame, man.
Well, I got the Poop Sockers badge in Battlefield 2 to prove it.
Actually, I did feel there was some like ironic, like, God damn it, that I finally hit level 60 after 2 years. 2 days after they raised the limit to 70.
It is like I'm proud of what you pointed out, that you guys are like, I'm the alcoholic, but I drink like beer or whatever.
Right.
And you guys are like the alcoholics on like Night Train.
Oh, whoa. Watch that. Vodka.
And we sit here and we take it. He's right. We're geeks. I'm telling you, no more.
No, actually, yeah. So I got that all wrong. You're not on Night Train, because that's hardcore. You guys are on like the Bartles and James cooler, Fuzzy Navel or whatever.
So you think.
And you're drinking Zima then.
No, that's what you're drinking, dude. Mike's Hard Lemonade.
We're all geeks.
All right.
It's just variations on a theme. So let's talk about, before we break off into other things, we got the list of the top 10 PC games of 2006. Okay? This will be genre-free discussion.
These are North American numbers.
North American sales best-selling PC games of 2006.
All right, let's hear them.
Number 1, World of WarCraft.
Surprise.
See, Sean?
Surprise.
8 million people can't be wrong, Sean.
Yes, they can.
Or can they?
Come on.
Yes.
Dude.
How many days sell this?
Go there, dude. Tell me, after I told you to turn your Britney Spears album down, and you told me the same thing. after I asked you why you're recording Dr. Phil, you told me the same thing.
That's right, and all those people are great. I like to play WoW with Dr. Phil and Brittany. And we all say fuck you, all three of us. Phil, Brittany, and me. Got 3 birds for you, buddy.
Your green
Then number 2 is Sims 2. In fact, let me go ahead and just skip around here. Number 2, 3, 5, 8, and 10 are all Sims 2 related. 2, 3, 5, 8, and 10. Half the list.
Not one first-person shooter on
That's
there.
Sims 2. Sims 2 Open for Business expansion pack. Sims 2 Pets expansion pack. Sims 2 Family Fun Stuff expansion pack. And Sims 2 Nightlife expansion pack. That's 5 of the top 10.
Wow.
What do we think about that?
Wow.
Does it make us cry?
PC gamers are a bunch of girls.
Apparently, they're listening to
Maybe
Britney Spears and Dr. Phil. I don't know.
It's a very odd thing.
No, I mean, that's very true. I mean, what you said, Ryan. In North America, PC game.
What's interesting is that all the people that bought those games are not really readers of our magazine.
Right.
So 5 of the top 10 are really going to are being bought by gamers who probably don't consider themselves hardcore gamers.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's actually kind of funny.
they're dedicated to one franchise.
I was actually. It kind of reminds me. I ran up in a bar this weekend. Big surprise. And there's some girl overhears game conversation. I was hanging out with Babbler at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine. Anyway, so
Girl comes up, asks you why you're drinking Zima.
exactly. She goes, "You are the coolest guy here."
Do you play WoW?
No, break it.
So anyway, so as I'm drinking my Jack straight, thank you. She overhears our conversation about gaming stuff, and she says, "I'm not a," she says, "I would so not let my boyfriend play games," and she goes off on all this stuff. And then she goes, "Well, I do play some stuff like The Sims," and it's kind of funny. There's a huge disconnect that she doesn't see herself as a gamer at all. Mm-hmm. It's just some total random, sampling out there in the world. But
it's odd too that The Sims, began life as pretty hardcore game, but it's morphed into something totally different.
Virtual paper dolls.
Yeah, but 5 of the top 10. To round out that top 10, then, along with WoW and the 5 Sims 2 entries, are Star Wars Empire at War at number 4, which was a good RTS.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was number 6. And let's see, Age of Empires 3 was 7, and Civ 4 was number 9. So what's interesting there is a lot of strategy games rounded out the top 10.
Definitely.
Surprised that Star Wars game was on there.
And
Star Wars game was right after.
Ranked higher than Civ.
It did. Civ was number 9, in fact.
Well, Civ had come out in 2005, though. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's true, actually. So that's actually sort of impressive. It's still on the list a year later. If we had actually prepared for this podcast, we could actually go through all the great 2006 games that did not make this list.
Well, if we actually went and grabbed our new issue, where we did kind of just talk about all this recently as we were doing our.
The Company Heroes isn't on there. It's frightening.
Yep.
Oblivion's not on there.
No, Oblivion is. Oblivion's number 6.
It's a lot lower than.
But it's number 6. Yeah, Oblivion is below 3 of the Sims 2 entries. So
yeah, just like in general,
Company Heroes, like you said, not on there.
But I mean, in general, just like all, not just strategy games, but all the good games that came out this year that fell off this list altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Company Heroes, obviously.
Company Heroes came out a lot later in the year, though, too.
Also, what I'd like to know is what is the difference in numbers, because we don't have the actual numbers here, between number 1 and number 2. 1 being WoW and 2 being Sims 4.
There are a lot of ifs like that, too. And also, I wonder, worldwide sales would really skew it. Not the usual, Warcraft stuff with, the Asian market, but just, the European
once you get the
market.
Germans in there, then you get, all those weird strategy games in there.
Right. And I'm sure that once you do bring in the EU, I'm sure that, Titan Quest ends up on that list.
Right.
Company Heroes and a number of other games.
Well, perhaps a professional PC gaming podcast would have that information.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we're not that one.
Let's go search some on Google.
Hey!
Maybe we'll try to remember that for next week. Let's try to get some worldwide numbers. See how they vary.
Well, I think the WoW numbers, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 979,000 sales.
Yeah, WoW's going to end up being number 1 no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's the best, Sean. But after that, it could be anything.
Not past the Zima.
So, is that all we have to say about that topic?
About the sales?
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's not so controversial. It's what we're used to this, It's not
it's nothing shocking.
If all of a sudden, if it had been shooters that had been dominating that list for the past years or something.
Interesting, not one shooter on that list.
Well, also, there weren't that many good, how many what were the good shooters of this year?
Prey.
Well, this was
there was Prey. There was 2140. just in general, Prey 2142.
Ghost Recon, Advanced Warfighter,
right?
Right.
I'm just trying to think. What else? Okay, Episode 1. But all those sales, but most of those sales are going to be over Steam.
Well, a year from now, it will be interesting to come back here and see if we're going to see things like Quake Wars and.
That's another thing for those numbers. It's not taken into account. We always say it, but it's not taken into account. Steam and all these other sources.
Well, true.
Yeah, and MPD is totally flawed in that respect. They don't take into account that at all. Just store sales.
Actually, that's a huge
PopCap, even
right
sales on the thing. You'd think that every year, I'm sure Bejeweled 2 still sells. Enough to get it on the list.
I got a phone call this morning from ABC. They asked me because with these numbers also came up the random fact that PC game sales went up by 1% over the year before. So he called me about the quote resurgence.
It's a growth market.
Exactly.
It's exploding.
Exactly, and it's I don't know what to say to that. Is there? I don't know. Because I don't even really know what to say when people say a rise in PC gaming or not. Because as you said, all those people playing PopCap games, do you count that shit? Do you count the millions of people playing Yahoo cribbage every day? And, if so, then PC gaming is humongous. But if we're only counting these retail games, these high-profile retail games, I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to answer questions like that anymore. Don't call me. Call someone else. Call someone else.
I'm sure all the people in sales that
they're all cringing.
God
damn it!
The name of our magazine and the name of our editors appearing on ABC or
you're right.
Would disagree.
Okay, I'm sorry. Call me. I'd love to take your calls. I'm your PC gaming expert. Great.
No, but maybe they're just reacting to all the people waiting in lines around the corner to get Burning Crusade.
Yeah. And that was huge.
That was pretty much it.
Right.
How many, not that we actually did our homework, but how many sales did that make in its first week?
Well, I believe it was over a million.
A million?
A million in 1 week for an expansion.
Didn't they release that number after 4 days or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gears of War trumpeting 3 million after how many months?
A lot of people bought.
This is a week.
Burning Crusade. And yet people still were complaining in the general chat on What the hell was that noise?
That was deep.
My mic got caught on my sweater. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Way to go, Darren.
Yeah, I suck. Yeah, that's for you.
I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
So you were talking about the fools.
Oh, in general chat.
In general, yeah.
Well, it's on day one. Day one of the launch, this expansion has been anticipated for over a year. I'm on a server that's already overcrowded. I mean, they've been warning people for months that they're going to split the server because it's full. There's been a queue every night, even before the expansion. So it's a crowded server. It's night one of the launch, and everybody's in the first zone because it's the only zone you can be in. And guess what? There's lag. Big surprise. And there's guys in there complaining about it. To me, it's like, what do you expect? I mean, how could there not be lag here? You know, and like, Blizzard fucked up the launch. It's like, no, they didn't. It's day one, dude. Wait till tomorrow. It'll be fine.
So it's just a bunch of you sitting in the same area, right? So there's a bunch of like clown-looking.
Here he goes reducing it again. Yes.
No, help me grab this because this is true. I've never had, despite working with people who explain how games work and critique them for a living, I've never had anyone present to me a strong case as to why I should buy the game or said anything about the game where I'm like, you know what? I've been a damn idiot. I need to get this game. But so help me imagine this here.
Okay.
So you got a bunch of dudes just standing around, right?
Don't look at me.
We're not standing around.
They're rubber banding around, and some
of us are doing the dance animation. So we're not just standing. We're not just standing.
So some of them type like, shout all like,
hey, can you help me
paid my money for this game and it's lagging, and then you come on there like, dude, it's all good. Just chill.
Right.
This is how we roll in whatever this world's called, Azeroth. And then like.
Yeah,
and that's just it. Then you just pan the camera, you just see more and more of these fools standing there.
Right, and we're all arguing with each other, calling each other losers.
Some of you like making numbers appear over a monster here and there.
And then we all talk about how we're reporting each other. Reported. Reporting you for reporting me. Yeah, that's pretty much WoW. Yeah. See what you're missing?
Wow.
So indeed.
You could save that for another time.
It's all about questing.
It's all about
looting and killing, dude.
It's all the loot slot machine is you just kill Rat 5 and get the cool shoulder pads or something.
Okay, we're changing the topic. We're going to table this for another day. We're going to have the epic why Sean Elliott should play this game podcast. And then we're going to make you play it and then report back.
Okay. And then I'll be back on here telling everyone how much I love it.
I know you'll be the next cat ass.
I'm going to have to play some WoW now so I can side with Sean against you guys.
Okay, you play Guild Wars. You just have like a different thing that's the same thing.
It's the same general idea.
Sean would actually hate you too.
I played Guild Wars.
Played Guild Wars, yeah.
How is that different?
But he stopped.
Because it was pretty fun. I mean, just like there was like
pretty fun.
Just a wide variety of spell combos, and
I could say the same shit about WoW.
Seeing new areas, but I wouldn't stand around in like some town where there's a bunch of fools and all just like talk about like the state of the network or whatever.
Okay, why don't we just throw our gloves down?
I would buy this Mithril Gauntlet from Potentia if the damn server wouldn't stop lagging. It puts it back into my item box every time I attempt to put it on the auction block.
All right, so you sound like you know a little too much.
Yeah,
you're holding out on us.
I know enough. So let's just do this now, since we're like deep in the depths of
of Nerdville.
Of all things despicable. Gaming.
Okay.
So last podcast we held a contest.
Yeah.
And I gave away my copy of the Burning Crusade Collector's Edition. Big heavy box, 7 DVDs in it. It's got mouse pads, maps, and
you were dissing it earlier. We remember what it is.
Yeah. So he dissected it. He was calculating its net worth.
I'm a man of my word. I gave it away.
Yeah.
But the condition for the contest was that you prove that you are just the biggest slime bucket and dirtbag out there by showing photos of your gaming center and just like how squalid it is.
It was awful.
So people, I mean, Ryan was upset immediately. Tell me what was wrong in your mind with the principle of this contest.
Well, I figured that it was flawed on the basis of, anybody who's gonna be qualified enough to enter this contest already lined up and has a copy of this collector's edition.
That's actually one good point.
If your living condition is that bad,
right.
Right.
You've already earmarked the money to pay for it.
And I didn't care because I wasn't worried about getting it into the right person's hands. I just wanted some stuff to laugh at. and I got it in spades.
Give the heroin addict another hit.
And I felt like sort of like I think it was the dad in me. I felt like we should have rewarded the person like with the cleanest room.
Right.
Clean your room and then you can have a burning crusade.
I wonder how many people just took a trash can and just dumped it over their computer.
But we tried to allow for that, right?
We did. No, we tried to allow for people Googling like. Just filthy rooms, feces plus like living space, and posting whatever, copying and pasting whatever. Like
the antivirus HQ.
Yeah. So they had to have like their screen name appear in there, and some people were clever and they wrote them on tortillas, like they had half-eaten burritos with their name written on the side of it.
Some people really tried hard,
and others, I knew some would just like sully their space. Artificially would just basically overturn trash cans on their monitor, and that was fine because still it doesn't matter. They got to clean it up if they want to. If they're going to go to that length, and some clearly did. It's like let's point out.
I think the best part is the guy who does that, and he comes in second place, or he just doesn't.
This guy Slavic, he was going to come in second place, but I asked around the building, and from Electronic Gaming Monthly's own editor-in-chief Dan Shu, he volunteered a copy so I could give a second grand prize winner.
Oh, to Slavic.
And this dude, you could tell he was a slob, he was naturally a slob, but he was so determined to win. He painted shiners on himself, taped his arm off. I don't know what the hell. It's like instead of like a belt or something, he put a bunch of duct tape over his arm.
That's the committed heroin addict.
He's laying back. And these photos here, you're passing them around in the studio. You can't really see everything because this is just a fraction of. When I went to print it, it only printed a little quarter of the image, but he had basically pizza mashed in between the keys of his keyboard, and there was this disgusting. There was food everywhere. It looked like someone, someone hit a pig with an RPG and then just like left pieces around. And there was a condom.
That was the condom picture.
Condom hanging over the keyboard with the banana mashed up inside of it.
Oh, that's nice.
And so this is okay.
Like that was the image that haunted me on the whole thing.
Okay, he owned a condom.
So this guy, you can see all these still. If you go to our forums, you can look at these pictures. But this one, there's some that I want to point out. Some features of that were real. A lot of them, certain things would come up, and you would see like Tums. Which makes sense because I saw the pizza in the keyboard, so that you're going to need the Toms. I saw Febreze a lot.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. It's going to stink. But like this fool, it's got like, I see something like baby powder or something by the monitor. But you got to think about it.
Be chafing.
Then if you live in these kind of conditions, okay, I could buy the baby powder. But
Gold Bond, much better.
Gold Bond ointment. And some of these though, look at that on the counter. What do you see on the desktop right there?
Is that a jar of Vaseline right there?
Yeah, so you get the Vaseline.
Full effect in a box of tissues.
That could be for anything.
Okay. Right next to the notebook.
What about this? One dude, he's got a bucket of Mountain Dew. Now, when I say a bucket, I mean this shit has got a handle on it. Like, okay, who drinks out of a bucket?
What do you mean? It's like cans in a bucket or like a bucket full of?
It's like 144 ounces.
No. How do you know it's actually a soda bucket?
It's a bucket.
Wait, do you have a picture of that?
No, it's cropped out, but we can show you later.
Is there like a giant
straw? Is it still Slavic we're looking at?
No, this was the other guy that won.
Wait, how do you know it's Mountain Dew?
It says Mountain Dew on the side of the bucket, dude. Wow. It's a bucket. This guy drinks out of a bucket. He's surfacing.
He should have been in the picture.
He's surfacing for lard in a vat of air. He comes up in that thing.
What I got to say to these guys?
I want to see a picture of the guy who's like.
Let me say this though. The main thing when I looked at these, I remembered like there's that kid. When you're younger. And his mom or his dad has the money, and so they buy him the video game systems. And you don't really like this dude, but you go to his house because I want to play some Phantasy Star. I just want to see what the Genesis looks like, But this dude, if this was that dude, I wouldn't even go. I don't even.
Well, this is him.
It's not even. This
is him 20 years later.
He's your friend.
Actually,
go into that place.
I knew a kid growing up. He had like a huge room, and parents would hook him up with everything: computers, games, whatever. He'd have comics, novels, books. Like basically, he had like stuff like strewn all over the floor. You couldn't even see the floor without stepping. You were going to be stepping on something.
Right. Yeah. That's what these are.
But this is total chaos theory. It's
you can't see. Yeah, you can't see the carpet. You can't see.
What I want to say to these guys is, especially now that they've won, just clean the fucking food up. If nothing else, if you got to leave the game boxes lying around, pick up those plates and put them in the kitchen.
Is it that hard? Yeah, not always, but once in a while, Mom was right. right. You know, just,
Yeah, really.
And there's one dude, I don't see his picture here, but there's one dude that had like a 2-liter soda bottle of mysterious
Like
yellow
piss.
liquid.
And that was the
With
thing.
a
After
label,
I
"Do
saw
not
that,
drink."
that was clear. That dude had like a pee jug he made, and I was like, the only way it's going a step further is if there's
the poop
a poop
sock. Here we go.
And that's
The secret origin
when
of
you're
the poop
so
sock.
okay. So that's basically when, like these guys in every other respect, meaning that your living space looks like a tornado ripped through a trailer park, and then it zipped down past the landfill. And it just like suddenly lost all power and just dropped everything in one big heap. And then you get out and you say, check that out. You put your stake in it and you put up 4 plywood walls around the side and you get your like corrugated sheet metal roof on top. You go in there
your little gaming
and you hook your WoW up. And then you don't stop playing WoW for weeks to the point that when you have to evacuate, you got a sock and you do it in the sock.
So basically, it's a gaming Hooverville you're envisioning where people.
It is a gaming Hooverville.
You know, I just feel myself wondering though. So you have a bottle full of pee. You know what? That takes a lot of aim and a lot of
It's concentration. You could just get up.
You could just get up and go to the damn bathroom at that point.
Dude, some things. That's a good game. Anyway, but yeah, those pictures are still up on the forum. I think everyone should go have a look at them just to remind yourself, like, no matter how. I mean, if you think you're slightly messy, or if anyone tells you, your significant other tells you clean up a little bit, go on there and hook them up with these bad boys.
Yeah, you see this, honey?
This is some
mess.
repugnant shit.
But you know what? I want our next contest to be the opposite. And I want Slavic and Manji to enter that contest.
Okay.
So clean up your rooms. You can win again if you have a clean room.
So the gaming makeover.
Gaming makeover.
And then the only one winner though, and the guy who cleans up better. Nah, I can't. I don't know.
There's some nice. I've seen versions of that. People with like. Then you get all the daddy warbucks showing their like quadruple monitors.
Hey, I don't care about if it's like fancy. Just clean. We got to be nice.
Yeah.
No, stains on the floor.
Yeah, Confucius say if you want to get action.
This is like beyond that, though. This is like your mom won't even call you when your room looks like this, man.
Maybe that's why.
But okay, so going on to our
wow, where else
awesome
we go
topics today? There's a stink online about BioShock not having multiplayer. I heard.
Yeah, there was some. I mean, there was not really shock yet, but there was an interview. I forget where it ran, but basically they're talking about the plans to make BioShock simply single player.
Right.
And no demo, possibly, just so they can focus on getting the game out the door. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on a single-player game only?
Well, dude, they never said it was going to have multiplayer.
I mean, that's nothing new, is it? I mean, Oblivion's single
great.
player.
I know, exactly.
Game after game is single player.
Right, I was going to say, the last System Shock game was like probably one of my favorite single-player games.
I have no problem with it whatsoever.
It's such a dumb, like...
It's such a non-issue.
We have games that are, like, explicitly multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
The Battlefield series, Quake Wars. I'm not going to like knock it when they do provide it because like Crysis, the multiplayer looks like that that looks like the game that could not only, I mean, we don't know yet, but it could very well end up being the best single player shooter you played that year and the best multiplayer you played that year. But I think that's a rarity, and I think in most cases, if they're just going to give you, hey, here's some of the environment that we already created for single player, and we're just going to rework it into a map. Give you some of the same guns and put you in a space with deathmatch and team deathmatch. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's like it's not going to break a deal if it's not there.
I felt that way about Prey. I had no interest in playing it multiplayer.
And it was fun. I mean,
I'm sure it was, but I didn't even care.
But yeah, you didn't need that to get the game. And when Half-Life 2 shipped, it didn't have it had no multiplayer, and the deathmatch component came out a short while after, but that game didn't have.
Right. I was just going to say, like, I guess my only thing about it is, like, it used to be a thing in the past. It used to be a big concern having multiplayer in a game, and I'm glad it's at the point now where if you want to make a good single player game, just make that.
Right.
If it has great multiplayer, bonus.
Better that than half-assed.
Exactly. Don't half-ass it. I'd rather have nothing than a half-assed multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. And then, when Doom 3 came out, who cared about the multiplayer?
Except for the pro deathmatchers.
But they didn't though, because no one that played pro deathmatch wanted to play it on Doom 3 at that time because the performance was inconsistent and depending on the circumstance. You would just play Quake 3. You play Quake 3 Arena.
That's
true.
Play
an Unreal Tournament or something. Mm-hmm. Play Counter-Strike. Like 1.6. Even that Source came out, people are still, resistant to moving up to the current stuff when they're.
So I think we're declaring this a non-issue. We don't care.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting anyone.
I think we're all psyched about BioShock too.
Oh, most definitely.
But as a single player game.
Can't wait for the game. Yeah. And I love multiplayer shooters too, but it's like I don't need it to be everything.
Agreed.
I definitely have times when I want to play with other people, but I have times when I just want a game on my own as sort of a way to chill out on my own. So, I mean, single-player gaming, I'd probably do more than multiplayer gaming.
Right.
It's kind of funny. For a while, it was kind of like that for me. I prefer to play a lot of that game alone. And then when I got to the rating level stuff, I'm just like, I'd play once in a while and then just say, forget it, I'm done with this, because people would piss me off.
It's got to be difficult for developers because the two types of modes are so different, and the demands from them are so different that it is asking them to do double the work. And in some cases, like, with Arcane and Kuju for Dark Messiah, they actually have different groups. They have a whole other development team work out the multiplayer.
Well, a lot of times they do. Like Gra is another example. 2 different teams, and actually that was one thing that kind of annoyed me. Was in Gra you can in single player you can do sliding and crouching and all this posting up stuff, and you couldn't do it in multiplayer. And to me that was the game. But the excuse I think they hid behind at the time was, oh, it was an intentional design for multiplayer to speed it up. And I'm like, I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah. And then we've got the big other big news story of the day that we broke is the crossing.
We did.
That's
the crossing.
That's where the multiplayer and the single player don't really make a difference.
Right. That's our March.
That was my clever segue, by the way.
March. No, that's our February cover story.
Yeah. Bring it up again because it's on Slashdot today. It's one of the top stories on there.
Yeah, Slashdot credits one up, but we broke the news, baby.
Yeah. So that's there. There's some funny responses in there. People, I mean, it's interesting to see how everyone's reacting to
on
the idea.
Slashdot.
Yeah, on Slashdot. So in their comments, bring everyone up to speed. We won't hash it out again because it is on the One Up show. I talked about it there. We have our issues out now, and our issue after that's shipping. But basically, it combines. They call it cross-player, and it combines single player with multiplayer in all these different ways. And so some of the responses, though, I mean, you could tell people are just expecting the worst in this. So we got one guy, Anonymous Coward. Let me cue up his voice. He says, "Oh yeah, great. I'm really looking forward to being spawn camped in a single player game." And then we got Canthro says, "Not to mention being repeatedly owned by half a dozen Korean kids."
Oh.
And then we got, "I see a problem with this skill gap between people who typically play single-player FPS to enjoy storyline and people that play multiplayer competitively is so huge that no armor, health boost, or anything will help." So the guy there is, I mean, they're all responding to is the whole thing is that when you go into a multiplayer game, people are good. And I've called them savants in the podcast. I want to spread that term. They're savants. Someone that can kick your ass without trying in a multiplayer FPS is a savant.
They're not all savants, though. Some of them are just people who spent 300 hours in the game.
That's my term, man. Don't challenge.
He's taking it back.
It's not savant in the way. Doesn't mean they can count how many toothpicks fell on the floor when you overturned the box.
But if you're only good because you spent 300 hours in it, you're not a savant.
An army of gaming Rain Man is what you're talking about, right?
It means you're a loser who had nothing better to do at this time.
Poop sockers. They already exist. Why are you trying to make up new ones? So poop sockers and savants alike.
Okay, there we go.
And of course, it's like when everyone sees it, and those were my concerns exactly. It was like, okay, well, obviously they're going to have to stack the way that this operates, and that means that if you're playing as the single player or the narrative mode player, you're going to expect at the end of the day you need to win. You need to be able to win.
Right.
And so the challenge isn't so much that. I mean, they should just think, like these guys, Arcane, I mean, despite reviews for Dark Messiah issues, these guys have made games before. They know that. They know that the person that playing the narrative portion of a game is going to expect to win at the end of the day.
So what does that mean for the people on the? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but just one quick question. What does that mean for the people on the other side?
That's
who
exactly
have to
where I'm going.
That's where you're going. Okay.
And that should be, I think, where people should be concerned about.
Okay.
And that's where I'm most concerned is that. Who not only is it a question of who wants to be those people, and in the One Up show I compared them to the dudes that come out in Half-Life on the bridge and you're in the canal section, and they come out there so you can hit the pilings of the pier and they can fall down into the river. So it's not only who wants to be those guys and who's going to play them with gusto, but like. I mean, how much fun is that going to be, and how long? How are you going to make it red fun?
I mean, are they, maybe some guys just want to be the bad guys for 5 seconds, and they can swap out and change sides or whatever. But
I think the way that the process works, you're not going to be able to say, "Hey, I'm going to be like chode number 2675, and then all of a sudden I'm going to go back and be one of.
Oh God, I hope there's a role named show number 6.
Yeah, that's how it'll in the credits.
You're going to be able to go between like, and we call them the Mackenzie quintuplets and other games like Sona EGM, because the dudes come out. The only thing different is the color of their Hawaiian shirt. Is it like red, yellow, or blue? For everything else, they all came from the same giant, like most fertile womb in the universe, somewhere deep in the heart of Mobland.
The Earth Mother birthed a bunch of guys.
So you're just dealing with this. So you get to be those guys, the Mackenzies, and. having played Left 4 Dead, which is another game. Don't confuse the two, but it's similar in that you get to play the bad guys in portions. You get to play the different zombies, and similarly, that game is not meant to be a tournament game where humans play zombies and anyone can win. Mm-hmm. The humans are supposed to win. So it's definitely, and I played it, and I described that game to everyone. They're like, "Oh God, I can't wait to play the zombies." And that's what I was thinking too. But then when I played it, the humans were a lot more fun because they're sturdier, just for the fact that they don't die so freaking easily, and they take less work. The skills that you're already used to, that you've already honed elsewhere, basically pointing, shooting, using firewalls with Molotov cocktails and stuff. But I mean, they're entirely different for, say, if all you can really do is hang someone with your tongue, and you've got to find some way to ambush them and hope that their teammate doesn't get you, and you basically grab them around their neck with it and pull them up. So it was fun, but and then when you die, it takes like 3 hits. Someone shoots you, and you die, and then you got to wait like 15 seconds, and you're like, that's a long time. It's like when a Counter-Strike match goes on, and the last 2 dudes are playing chicken shit. And you're like, just go, dude. Just try to plant the freaking bomb. And everyone starts starting like votes, kick this dude. Or Battlefield, too. It's like always the last guy alive. You lose all spawn points. The last guy alive is a sniper sitting up where he meant absolutely jack shit to the whole game.
And I like to be that guy.
And how many times have you done that with Rory? Like, you're on one side, he's on the other. You're just like,
no, I hate that guy. Everyone just mashes their keyboard till their fingers bleed about trying to tell the other team where he's at. But of course, the other team can't read what you're saying when you're dead. But anyway, so that's the concern, like what you pointed out, Jeff. Yeah. I think in the end, it's going to be tough to make it fun to be those dudes. But they do solve it by sheer numbers, and then being able to work together in the segments of the game where instead of just you're playing the typical bad guys that spawn in, you're not playing the dudes that come out on the pier to take a swim. You're playing a big Battlefield style match, and then these guys come in and they're kind of like the elites or something. It's like the dudes in the Battle Walker almost. Right. And you don't have to. You could still get points and still play and fight the guys on the other team. You just don't have to focus entirely on taking those 2 guys out. Right. You guys are drawing pictures now.
Well, I'm listening.
Ryan's commenting on your picture. Give me the pen. I'll draw pictures. So,
what are we in class all of a sudden?
I know. Yeah. You got yelled at by the teacher.
Turn that computer. I don't want to see anyone playing Minesweeper. It's not fun, man. I was a teacher. I know the experience. You're bringing some hard times back for me.
I'm just doodling.
These one kids.
Greg Ford saying, "Hurry it up."
He's like he's got the wrap it up signal.
Wrap that shit up.
Next topic.
We gotta move on. I have another topic, man.
We don't have another topic.
Yeah, we do. We have letters. We have reader letters. We'll do those. Ryan?
We get your letters.
We have some good ones
every day.
We have good ones this week.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Well, we'll start off with a WoW one.
Awesome.
College Boy asks, with the Burning Crusade out, I was hoping that Blizzard had opened the game to more casual players and the dungeons no longer take a day to go through. Can I now pick up the game and clear through a dungeon within 1 to 2 hours and get some real nice epic loot? Or are they falling into the same in-game 6-hour rinse and repeat pitfalls?
His prayers have been answered, aside from the getting epic loot part, which would be silly after an hour. Sorry.
What the hell is he doing this for if it's not epic loot?
You got to earn it. But
dungeons would take more than an hour.
Oh hell yeah! Oh geez, there are dungeons that take a day. Right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're never getting me to play that game.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I stopped way before that.
No, but they did add new 5-man dungeons, instances that are about an hour. That are quite fun, so that they did do that. Yeah,
well, that's good. I mean, that I can deal with. It was the ones where it's like hour 4, and I'm like,
it's a tough commitment.
But you don't get any real reward. You get a certificate of participation.
No, you get good loot, but epic is different. Epic means something.
And all I got was this shitty coin.
Well, you know what you're getting going into it. You don't have to do it.
Oh, it tells you.
Yeah.
Beat on this dragon for 5 gold.
Sure, that's what all the WoW quests are like. You know what you're getting going into it.
It's like a theme park.
Yeah, it's like a theme park. Yes. So yeah, the answer is yes. They have casual quests or casual dungeons. Casual-esque.
Are those there like right from the start?
With Burning Crusade. Yeah. So, yes.
Good to know.
Well, good.
Next, that was an easy one.
That was an easy one. That's a tough one.
All right, here's a tough one. Said Stick basically asks for MMOs, what's your stance on Care Bear, like PvE gameplay, like very PvE focused, versus PvP? And he says that's for each editor to answer.
Yeah, that's like a whole podcast topic. Okay.
Man, that's
all right. Well, translate. Care Bear is, and basically it's a derogatory word for a non-PvP server, non-PvP environment where people are just on questing, against the NPC mobs or whatever, and the player-on-player interaction is friendly or not hostile, at least. A non-ganking environment versus
Should we tell this to ABC?
Yeah, versus PvP, which we all know what that is. So, I don't know. That question, that's a tough question, really. That could just take hours.
Well, you play on a PvP server on WoW, or you used to, right?
I used to. I actually had him moved. PvP... having played both in WoW, I have mixed feelings because the PvP can get incredibly frustrating because in the way WoW works, it's actually pretty clever on the PvP servers. You're in a safe zone for your first 20 levels or so, but to do quests and get experience, once you hit a certain level of experience, you have to go into the PvP zones. So at any time you're going to be doing quests that are involving NPCs and your normal, I got to kill 8 whatever boars or whatever, there could be players from the other faction who can kill you. So they can completely disrupt your gaming experience. What is essentially a single player game.
That's experience. What I would play that. But
and there's tons of people just like you who play it just like that.
To that point though, where
the poop socking. To get to level 20 takes hardly any time.
Actually, the poop socking is what happens afterwards.
No, you can.
Right. I couldn't gank anyone. If I went in that game, I couldn't gank you until I poop socked.
No, that's not true. You could.
I could.
Yeah, you could. If you go into a PvP server, the PvP starts after level 20, which is nothing.
Therefore, I poop sock. So that's what we're saying.
No, you don't need to poop sock to gank. Why are we having this discussion? Okay. Why am I taking your bait? God damn you.
Man, you so walked into that one too. I just shut down.
So I don't know. So if what you're trying to do when you're playing these games is like get the loot, get the stuff, do the theme park stuff, then PvP can be a really tough thing because there's going to be players like Sean Elliott who are just there to fuck with you and want to kill you. If you go onto a PvP server to play against other players,
they have the colostomy bag.
Then you're going to have fun that way. If you go into a PvP server, because when I was on the PvP server, there would be people in general chat saying, "God damn it, I'm so tired of these dudes ganking me." Other people would write, "You're on a PvP server, man. If you don't want to get ganked,
into this world to be a hero,
go on, I wanted to be a real hero.
A Care Bear
I wanted
server.
to make a difference.
I don't feel like I'm a hero when people keep fucking killing me.
Right. But when you're on a PvE server like I am now, at times it almost feels like cheating in a way because now I'm in zones in WoW that before were hotly contested zones where it was practically impossible to play the game regularly because you were always worried about the enemy. And now you see the same players, you see these orcs, other players going by, and you're just like waving because you can't kill each other. So
it seems though. I mean, I was making fun of it, and I honestly, it does seem fun to me to be able to jack someone else in the game.
It is,
but
very
that
fun.
Seems much more fun to say, hey, even if you are one of the dudes who's getting mad because people are ganking you, and you say, hey, let's put together our own little team, or let's hire a vigilante, or let's all just agree to like the kids in the South Park episode. Let's make this heroic.
That's absolutely what happens.
Effort to stop these guys.
That's why that episode was so funny because that is what happens.
But if you turn that off, then you guys are just in line for the damn Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's true,
ride.
but different people are playing different ways.
Watch, here's where the pirate waves.
No, you're right.
His little bird, the beak will move. Look closely.
The dog with the keys is so cute.
To the dragon you fight.
Well,
going,
hey, I could argue that's what Half-Life 2 is too. That's all Half-Life 2 is.
That's true.
It just well got it. But as far as
you can't know because some of those sometimes when you do in points in Half-Life 2, it's like the pirates come off of their little posts and we'll do something that Walt Disney himself didn't type into the old.
Like what? Every scripted scene plays out exactly the same way.
No, but I mean, when the AI...
It's more like the
AI
Hall
will be
Presidents,
scripted
not the
to
Pirates of the
spawn in,
Caribbean.
But then it will do something different. So say, for example, you put in a fast-moving zombie, right? The ones in Ravenholm that are able to climb buildings. Where and when they enter the game world will be part of the Disney ride, but what they do after that moment is not part of the ride. They can do it would be like the rogue employee in the theme park who could decide he wants to like kick your ass when he's wearing the Mickey Mouse costume. You know,
You don't know when he's going to strike, but he's out there looking for you.
Yeah. Different people play WoW for different reasons, but the truth is, you can go on to a PvP server and just play the game, and there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who play it for that reason, to kill other people.
Right.
Well, I think as far as the PvE thing, I mean, one thing I thought about as especially with WoW was there aren't really that many RPGs out there, and people want a fix for it. And so, some don't mind the PvP. I love it personally. But PvE stuff, it's for those who just miss playing RPGs. That's why I see it, at least.
Right. I mean, I when I'm playing World of WarCraft, I'm mostly playing it as I would play a single player RPG, and I just enlist other people to play with me for the quests that require more than one person. But other than that, I don't want to be bothered with the PvP.
Yeah. So the whole care bearing thing, I think I don't quite buy into the care bearing thing, but I think it's more like people who miss playing RPGs.
Well, what's interesting, the phenomenon going on in Burning Crusade right now in the Outlands area, which is the post-level 60 area, even on the PvP servers, because all of these new zones are accessible to both Horde and Alliance, and even on the PvP servers, there's a phenomenon going on there now of people not ganking. So even the PvP servers have been turning into kind of Care Bear areas because all of the players are seeing these quests for the very first time ever. When you're level 60 in WoW, you've already seen everything a million times. So
the ganking comes as part of with boredom.
That's right, exactly.
I mean, in any of the kinds of games I play, it's like for the first few months I'm playing a game, I don't have time to.
Right, exactly. And that's what's happening in WoW.
But then when you played the shit out of it, and it's just not so much fun just killing Bobby G again.
Right, you just get on to mess with...
You can't even afford a microphone. I always love to point that out. Dude, your name's G Money and you don't even have a microphone. Come on, dude. Come back with the microphone.
But for now, we're seeing...
That's a real story, too. I played G Money many times. He's on Xbox. You'll find him on PC games.
What, the same guy?
Yeah, no, the same guy. Everyone thinks they're G Money. I mean, just like something Dawg, D-A-W-G, Dawg, or something Pitbull.
Red Dog.
Red Dog. Okay, do we have any more questions here before we sign off? This is kind of a hostile podcast here.
It's not hostile. It's just me doing my thing.
Feisty shit. That's
okay.
all.
It's feisty. You're griefing me.
It's friendly griefing.
All right. I'm going to bring it on more next week.
But why would you? It should only bug you. You're like, you already pointed out there's a dude who poop sock Battlefield trying to yell at me for poop sock in Warcraft.
No, it doesn't bother me.
And it does stand that a gun a 50 caliber is better, will always win over your +5 fireball.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're equally geeked out.
And I would say
brothers and nerd.
And I'm going to argue with you that that's a given.
Right.
I'm taking the fireball, man.
Okay.
over your gun. Your conventional weaponry.
Old school ballistic projectile attack. Well, just use a phase-changing particle.
Exactly.
Transmute your bullets into...
Magic beats reality, dude. Sorry. Okay, next question. Or are we done?
Care Bear games suck. All right, next question.
Yeah, this is
Thanks for chiming that in.
Yeah.
And changing the subject. Okay.
Yeah, he has the last word. Thank you.
This will be the last question. This is from NoFXCKY. I have no idea how to pronounce your name.
NoFX.
No, that we play with that guy online a lot, too. And
we do.
And we know it's not how you say his name, but we call him NoFX Kiki.
No Fixie Kiki?
Yeah. Okay.
And this is a question about our work days. How much time a week is allotted to playing games, how much towards writing, and how much to other work, such as setting up meetings and exclusive with developers?
Oh, dear God.
Also, does a lot of the reviewing work spill over into your free time at home, especially with a lengthier game such as Oblivion?
Can't answer that with one sentence. We get an hour each week to make fun of you, and we're using it. We're almost 3 minutes of that hour left right now.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
The answer to the last part of the question is yes, of course. The review time totally spills over into our... what did he call it? Our free time and home time. Yeah, I mean, there's just no... There's no way for it not to.
You cannot contain all the stuff that needs to happen inside 8 hours.
And I don't know about you clowns, but I hardly get any gaming done at GFW.
I don't either.
It's just not
I hardly
really possible.
get any writing done here. I end up doing all my
what
writing
do? We don't game.
I
we don't
I do a whole lot here, but I don't have time to write. I mean, because it's all logistics stuff, like making
Lots of logistics all the time.
everyone's got their stories come in, making sure I got the assets for them,
Meetings.
screens and art. Yeah, Darren setting up cover stories for the next issue,
Yeah,
the next issue after that, and one after that. Same thing for stories, previews.
It's like
Talking to
we're
freelancers.
I don't know. I mean, like
Lots of traffic cops.
Exactly. I feel like we're kind of. I feel kind of like. I keep thinking of those like Wall Street brokers always on the phone saying buy, sell, or always kind of doing like the wheeling dealing stuff.
We're getting articles in. We're arranging articles for the next month. We're editing. We're laying out articles for the current issue. I mean, there's also like concurrent issues, at least for me, going on at once.
Right.
Arranging for covers down the line.
And there's different phases of editing too. I mean, there's like the text comes in, we edit it. It comes back from. It's laid out on the page after it had an art pass. And at which point we're editing again. We're also looking at art issues, and it's going back. I mean, so there's just a ton of different things that happen, and usually like that. If I have any kind of distraction like that, it's more difficult for me to write. So I just end up doing it like at home.
Yeah.
Do it in the evenings.
Yeah. Most of my